were heading to their various embarkation points, 19 ports on the south coast of England. While British troops embarked in the east, American GIs embarked in the west. The next time they would leave these ships would be to land. The Canadians, under British command and the third biggest Allied force, provided 21,000 men. The reversing of 20,000 vehicles into the holds of the ships so they could drive onto the beaches as quickly as possible was a remarkable task in itself. Not to mention the thousands of tons of supplies that had to be transported over those first 2 days. To give every chance of success to his invasion plan, Eisenhower had taken into account several parameters, notably the combination of a night with a full moon for maximum visibility and a half-tide at dawn for the landings. In the month of June, only the 5th, 6th or 7th would do. And to catch the enemy by surprise, the earlier in the day, the better. Ike decided the landings would take place on June the 5th. But in the days leading up to the 5th, the weather worsened. On June the 4th, as the ships based in the north of England were heading for the Channel, a violent storm broke. It forced Eisenhower to call back all the ships which had already set sail. Operation Overlord was under threat, as any movements carried out so far might have alerted the Germans. Day and night, Ike and his team stayed in constant touch with the weather office. But the news wasn't good. The forecast was poor for the next fortnight. That would spell disaster. The men would need remotivating, and the full campaign would be shortened by 2 weeks. In the ports where Eisenhower had to delay the departure, the weight became unbearable, as landing craft circled and circled like crocodiles in a waterhole. On that day, June the 4th, Desmond O'Neill was at work among his fellow Brits of the 3rd Division in a wind that didn't look like letting up. He made the following observations. We just sat there on board, with nothing to do other than eat or smoke. We didn't lack victuals. I had 10 men's rations just for me. A mood of bitter disappointment came over us. We still didn't know where we were going, other than that we were about to cross the Channel. Later, we were told we'd be landing at Lyon-sur-Mer. Didn't mean a thing to any of us. The Canadians were known for their devout Christianity, and maybe that made them pray so hard for the help they would soon need. Never had religious services been attended so keenly as on Sunday, June the 4th, 1944, in all the ports of southern England. The Americans, meanwhile, tried to keep busy because they knew that nothing fatigued the men as much as being idle, which would make them more vulnerable on the big day. On the evening of June the 4th, the weather forecast was a little less pessimistic. Calmer seas were predicted for the 5th and 6th. That night, in 30 minutes, Eisenhower took a decision that would change the course of the world. The fleet would set sail on June the 6th, 1944.